Hey there, welcome to the channel. In this video, you're getting a collection of creepy, emotional, and downright unsettling short stories. Think haunted memories, funerals that go too far, mirrors that don't play fair. Yeah, it gets weird. If you're into eerie tales that stick with you, hit that subscribe button, share with someone who loves a good scare, and drop a comment to let me know which story messed with your head the most. Alright, let's dive in. Story 1. The Blood That Binds. I never met my father. My mother said he died before I was born, but the elders whispered something else, that he was taken by a spirit that had followed our family for generations. They said he tried to fight it, but it consumed him. I didn't believe it until I turned 13. That's when the dream started. A woman with no eyes stood in the jungle behind our house. She called my name in a voice that sounded like wind through dry leaves. I woke up with bruises shaped like fingers. My grandmother said my soul was wandering, that the spirit was calling me. We brought in a spiritual healer. He chanted, burned offerings, and tied string around my wrists. But when he looked at me, his face changed. It's not just calling her, he said. It's inside her. He told us the spirit had entered our blood long ago, when one of our ancestors broke a promise to the dead. Every firstborn was marked. My father tried to seal it away, but he didn't finish the ritual. He vanished before the final offering. That night, I saw him. He stood near the family altar, holding a feather and a string. His eyes were hollow, but his voice was clear. I couldn't save you, he said, but I can fight for you. The woman with no eyes came again, but this time my father stood between us. He chanted in a language I didn't know. The air turned thick. The candle blew out, and she screamed like bamboo splitting. When I woke up, the string was tied around my wrist. The healer said it was a protection charm, that my father had finished the ritual from the other side. I still see him sometimes, in the smoke of incense, in the flicker of the altar flame. He didn't leave. He's watching. And I think maybe in our culture, love is stronger than blood. Story 2. The Light in My Mirror. Many will call me a cheater or bad names. I just stayed true to my feelings, and this is my story. I met him at a family gathering. He was quiet, respectful, the kind of person who helped his elders without being asked. He believed in spirits, in rituals, in the idea that love was more than just emotion. It was a bond between souls. We dated quietly. He gave me silver coins, left offerings at my doorstep, and once tied a red string around my wrist to keep my soul close. I didn't love him the way he loved me. I tried, but I started seeing someone else. A guy who didn't believe in spirits, didn't care about tradition. I broke the string. I broke the bond. He found out. He called once. Said, "You broke more than my heart. You broke my soul." 3 days later, he was gone. They said he hanged himself in his room. No note, just a bowl of rice and a candle lit at the foot of his bed. His mother said he'd been acting strange, talking to shadows, refusing food, staring into the mirror like he was waiting for someone. I didn't go to the funeral, but the guilt followed me. The first time I saw him again, I was brushing my hair. The mirror flickered. He was behind me, not angry, just hollow. I turned, nothing, but the candle on my altar lit itself. I asked my grandmother what it meant. She said, "His soul is restless. You broke the bond. You must call his spirit back and release it." We held a ceremony. burned paper clothes, offered food. I tied a new string around my wrist and whispered his name. That night, I dreamed of him. He said, I didn't want revenge. I just wanted peace. I said, I'm sorry. He smiled. The next morning, the mirror was clear. The candles stay cold, but once a year, I light one for him. Not out of fear, out of love. Story 3. The Thing That Came Back. My cousin went missing in the jungle. It happened during the rainy season, when our families traveled deep into the mountain of northern Thailand to tend the farmland. We walked for hours, through thick brush, steep hills, and trails only the elders remember. The jungle was alive with sound, frogs, birds, spirits. We set up camp near the fields. The adults worked, the kids played. My cousin, only 7, wandered off chasing a dragonfly. He didn't come back. We searched until the sun fell behind the trees, called his name, lit candles. The elders warned us not to go too far. They said the jungle had places where the living didn't belong, places where the air was too still, too quiet. On the 3rd night, he returned. He walked into camp barefoot, clothes soaked, eyes blank. No scratches, no bruises, just wrong. His mother ran to him, crying, but he didn't cry, didn't speak, just stared at the fire like it was whispering to him. We asked where he'd been. He said, with the ones under the ground. We asked who. He said, the ones who wear no faces. After that, he changed. He refused to eat rice, slept outside even when it rained, drew strange symbols in the dirt. Once, he whispered to me, they said I wasn't supposed to leave. They're angry. The elders brought a healer from the village. He performed a ceremony, burned paper, called the soul back. But when he looked at my cousin, he frowned. He's not alone, he said. Something came back with him. At night, we heard him talking in his sleep. Not in our language, not in any language. Sometimes he laughed, soft, hollow, like bamboo cracking. One morning, his mother found him standing at the edge of the jungle. They want me to come home, he said. She held him tight, told him he was home. He didn't answer. That night, he vanished again. No footprints, no sound, just silence. We searched the jungle, left offerings, called his name, but he never came back. Sometime when we returned to that farmland, the wind moved strangely through the trees, and if you listen closely, you'll hear laughter, software hollow. And I wonder if the jungle ever gave him back at all, or if it just sent something that looked like him. Story 4. The Funeral That Didn't End. My uncle died without warning. He was strong, healthy, and full of life. Then one morning, he didn't wake up. The elders said his soul had been taken too quickly, that it might not know how to find its way home. We prepared the funerals the traditional way. 3 days of offerings, food, paper clothes, money burned to send with him. The keyed player came from a nearby village, carrying the instrument that speaks to the dead. Its music would guide his soul back to the ancestors. The elders oversaw every step. They knew the rituals, they knew the words, they knew how to call the spirit and prepare its journey. But something felt wrong. The key wouldn't stay in tune. The candles flickered even without wind. The dog refused to enter the house. On the 2nd day, the key player paused mid-song. His hands trembled. He's not following, one elder said. His soul is confused. That night, strange things happened. The funeral photo cracked. The rice turned sour. And in the room where his body was kept, someone heard footsteps. Soft, slow, like someone pacing. but no one was there. On the final day, the cage player tried again. He played louder, slower, more carefully. The elders repeated the ritual, but the air felt heavy. The fire wouldn't catch. And when the final offering was burned, the smoke curled downward instead of rising. The elders said the soul hadn't left. We buried him anyway. But the house didn't feel empty. His wife said she heard him whisper her name. His son saw him standing near the doorway. I saw him in the mirror, just for a second. But it was him. The elders said we had to redo the funeral, that the soul was stuck, that it was angry. His wife finally agreed. The second funeral was quiet, no guests, just the cage, the elders, and the family. This time, the music flowed. The fire burned clean. And when the final ritual ended, the house felt lighter. We don't speak of the first funeral anymore, but sometimes when someone dies suddenly, the elders remind us if the soul isn't guided properly, it doesn't leave, it waits, and it always finds its way back. Story 5. The memories that weren't mine. I was born in Minnesota, in a hospital with fluorescent lights and nurses who couldn't pronounce my name. My parents were refugees. They carry stories in their bones of jungles, spirits, war, and escape. But they didn't talk about the past much. They wanted me to grow up American, safe, normal. But I wasn't. When I was 5, I told my mom I missed the rice fields. She said, "What rice fields?" I said, "The ones behind our old house, the one with the bamboo fence and the rooster that always escaped." She stared at me. We'd never lived near rice fields. We'd never had a rooster. I started saying things I shouldn't know. Names of people who died before I was born. Details about a village I'd never seen. Once, I told my grandma that I remember her wedding, that she wore a red sash and cried when the music started. She froze. That wedding happened 50 years ago. She said, "You sound like my brother." Her brother died in Thailand before I was born. The memories came and went. Sometimes I wake up crying, saying I miss my machete, or that I needed to feed the pigs, or that I couldn't find my silver necklace, the one my wife gave me. I didn't have a wife. I was 7. My parents took me to a spiritual elder. He listened quietly, then said, "Someone came back through him, but not fully, just pieces." He explained that sometimes, when a soul doesn't finish its journey, it returns through a child, not as a possession, not as a ghost, just as fragments, echoes. He said the memories would fade, and they did. By the time I was 10, I stopped dreaming in Lao, stopped craving sticky rice, stopped remembering the names of people I never met. But sometimes, when I walk past a farm or hear Keeg music at a funeral, something stirs, a feeling, a flicker, like someone inside me is trying to remember. And I wonder if I was ever just me, or if I've always been carrying someone else's goodbye. That's it for this round of stories. Thanks for sticking around. If any of these gave you chills, made you think, or just straight up creeped you out, drop a comment and let me know. I'd love to hear which one stuck with you. And hey, subscribe if you haven't already. Share with someone who loves the strange and unsettling. And stay tuned. There's more darkness on the way. Until next time, keep the lights on.